Hey guys, welcome back to Trendsetter Shaving. It's been a while since I last did a video. Just been moving, got another baby on the way, a lot of things, a lot of big changes going on in life. Growing the beard back out, as you can see. But I searched all over YouTube with a bunch of different channels, a bunch of different websites, and I couldn't find any video anywhere on how to clean a strop properly. The only thing I could find was knife strops and hunting strops being cleaned, which, I mean, obviously these guys here are not for knives. So for video's purpose, I didn't actually save the whole cleaning process to be filmed for you guys, because I wanted to try it out for myself to see if what I found would work. It worked pretty good, actually. So what I'm going to do is just kind of show you guys what I did, or explain it, and then show you the end result. First things first, this is a Dovo horsehide and canvas strop, and this is from the Art of Shaving. This thing was probably about $1.20, $1.30 with tax, varying on where you live, whatever. So you know, something in that price range. If you're using a compound on it, like the Art of Shaving has, and they actually recommend for this canvas side, I would learn how to clean it if I'm going to be spending that much. And even the Art of Shaving, I went in there and asked them if they knew how to clean these. The guy had no idea. You know, and that's nothing bad against the store. I'm not saying anything bad against the Art of Shaving or the retail workers who are there. Just, you know, this is information that I feel needs to be out there. So once again, like I said, I'm going to show you guys. So what I did, this is probably going to blow your mind. Something as simple as this right here, olive oil. And it's just extra virgin, regular base olive oil. You don't want anything that's got a cooking starch or anything crazy in it, just regular, basic, generic cooking olive oil. So what I did is I went ahead and I put, well, I didn't actually the first time, but what you're going to want to do is put a paper towel in between your layers here so the oil doesn't go through to your horsehide. And actually I would take it one step further than that and maybe put like a piece of saran wrap, or if you have like an old plastic placemat, anything like that, cut it out and put it in between there so you have a barrier between that hide and your canvas, because that oil is actually going to seep through the canvas. Because what's going to happen is that oil is actually going to lift the compound off the canvas. So what I did is I took a cotton ball, cotton swab, I put a little bit, probably about a capful of olive oil, just dabbed up and down this thing, just in various little spots. And then what I did is I worked in circles with my Q-tip and my cotton ball, and you'll actually start to see the compound lift off. And when that happens, you can take paper towel, microfiber cloth. I wouldn't recommend a canvas cloth or anything with a grain on it, just a regular cloth, and then just rub it all off. And then what you get is that right there, just kind of a really smooth, I mean, it's not going to be right down to clean canvas like that, but it's going to get you pretty damn close. So it lifts all that stuff off there. So that's actually pretty cool. Really cheap, effective way to clean your expensive strop. And I would guess that that probably works on the paddle strops as well. I, however, would not be cleaning your smooth grit side, only do your compound sides, because again, that oil is only going to be taken off your compound. So that's really it, I guess, as far as cleaning it. What I would say is after you put that oil on there, I hung this thing out for probably about a week to let it dry. And even probably a day, 2 days in between, I was still wiping it down to make sure all the residue was off. And I'm going to show you guys how to put compound back on these. Show you how to strop real quick. That's about it. This one I've already got some of this compound on. This is a Theories Izzard. I don't really know the grains on it anymore. It's been too long since I bought it. But this thing was probably about 60 bucks. How are you going to put your compound on? Some people say heat it up. I disagree with that. I feel like it seeps a little too far into the grain if you heat them up. The friction of you rubbing it's going to be enough. And you don't want to get too much, but what I do is I just kind of put lines like so down it, and then lines back. And what's going to happen is the pull or draw, if you will, of your straight edge is actually going to work that in to a degree with the friction. This is a 5/8 Boker, full hollow ground. Probably not significant, but if you guys are wondering, if you have a full hollow, half hollow, whatever, it's not really going to make a difference. Excuse me when I grab a rag here. This is just a shave towel. Good piece of cloth to wipe your compound on, so you're not messing up the wife's hand towels. So it's pretty much the same thing. You want the blade pointing towards you, be on the spine of your razor. And what we're going to do is hold your strop. If it's a hanging strop, you want to pull it out at an angle, probably 35, 30 degree. If it's paddle strop, just hold it. And you're just going to go down, turn, and you just turn it like you're turning a pencil in your fingers. So turn, come back up. Now since we just put compound on this, as you can see, that's already fading out those lines I put. It's working it in. I do just a little bit like that, a couple passes up and down. And there's actually going to be residue building on your spine of that compound, and that's totally normal. Because again, we're working it into the strop. And actually, you're not going to have to compound your strop every time. This is just for video purpose, to show you guys how it's done. And this is what's actually going to be putting the edge on there. So you don't want to speed through this and be whipping up and down. You want to take your time. So that's pretty much that. And then you would flip it over and you would do your regular passes up and down on your smooth to get your polish on there. And if you get a little compound on there, don't worry about it. You can just take your rag, a clean spot obviously, and kind of just buff out what you need to on it. And if this seems to be getting really worn, you got a beard brush, any sort of brush, you can just kind of give that a good rub to knock any of that compound extract that gets on there or anything. But the main thing I want to show you guys is how to work these hanging strops, because these are a little trickier. And they make ones that have different sides, different folds. This one's only two-sided. So some guys like to have them about chest level. I'm a little different. I like to have mine hanging up. So same thing with your compound. You're just going to rub it in. And we don't need a whole shit ton on here. We're not coloring. We're just laying down a smooth layer. And once you start to see it kind of pick itself up off the canvas, you know you got enough on there. So same thing on this. You want it taut, but you don't want to be, you're not trying to strangle someone. Just tight enough that you got some buoyancy to it. And this is only a 2-inch, so we're going to be doing an X pattern. But we're going to start on our canvas, blade towards us, spine away, drag up and across, down and across, up and across, down and across. And if you're starting out, I mean, honestly, I would recommend the paddle, because that's a full 6 inches across, so you're not having to do your X pattern like this. You know, I was smart enough, I watched what I was doing starting with this, but there's some people out there, I'm sure, that would maybe come down with the blade by accident and ruin their $120 strop. So, this is something I would just recommend for people that have gotten the touchdown, know what they're doing. But once you have this compound on here, what's nice about it is it doesn't take much. You're not going to have to sit here and strop the crap out of it, because that compound actually adds kind of a grain feel to this, or makes it a little bit coarser to actually work that metal down to a fine point. So as you can see, that's gotten kind of dark, and that's just the metal coming off the blade, which is totally normal. You don't want any water on this. I've heard of some people using oils, stropping oils, honing oils. I'd imagine if you're going to do that, you'd only want to do your hide side, not your fabric side. Because as I said, even with the olive oil, I had to let that thing dry out for almost a week, 2 weeks. And I'd imagine if you put any sort of honing oil on there, it's not going to end well. So we go to our leather side here, horsehide side. Same thing. Just an easy X pattern. Now you might notice I'm kind of picking up when I flip. I've been doing this long enough. Don't try that if you're new at this. If you're new at this, I wouldn't even be doing an X, out of all honesty. I would just up, flip, down. Up, flip, down. You know, just kind of work your way over on the blade until you get comfortable enough to be doing an X. But I mean, once you get good enough, you can get going, get some speed. Stropping is one of those things, it's an art form. You don't really want to race through it though. You're going to get a better edge if you take your time. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's how it works. That's how you strop. General rule of thumb on any strop, I do probably about 20 passes on my coarse side and maybe double that on the fine side to polish it up. You know, if you order one off Amazon or wherever and it's a shave ready and you don't trust the machined edge and you want to put your own on it, I'd recommend maybe 10 on the coarse, 15 on the polish, just to give it a go. That's about it. I do have water stones on how to actually refinish the edge on these once they get shot, or if you buy a vintage one you want to redo. I'm not due for that for probably a couple more months, but when I get to that I will show you guys how to actually refinish an entire edge. But there you have it. I hope that helped you guys out, and I hope you get a full idea on how to clean your strops now. And that's that. We will see you again. Until then, get your shave on, gentlemen.